Alright guys, so if you've been watching our channel for the last few weeks, you've probably noticed that we filmed a lot in Taipei. So we thought for today's video we would share some tips and some costs, because a lot of people ask how expensive is Taipei, or how much money did you spend, and do you have any tips? So today it's going to be more of a practical video with a lot of information. Yeah,
exactly. And the cool thing is you guys suggested we do this and we're really excited to do it. We listened.
Also, we have a lot of information to share, so we had to make notes on the computer. You're probably going to catch us staring down, but it's just because otherwise it's a lot of prices to remember.
Yeah, we don't want to miss out on stuff.
So let's get started. First up, we're going to talk about transportation from the airport into Taipei. So we have a few different options.
Yeah, so we're looking down at the screen. So the first option is taking the express airport bus. And that's what we did. Yeah. We ended up doing that, and it's the cheapest and maybe one of the most convenient ways to get around.
Yeah.
So I'm looking here, and the price range is between 120 and 150 new Taiwan dollars, which means it runs for about 4 to 5 US bucks. And that gets you,
So basically, when you exit in the arrivals gate, just go to the information desk and ask them about the bus. They'll point you in the right direction. And then once you get to the right stand, you just need to let them know where in the city you're going, and they'll tell you what stop you need to get off at, and they will charge you accordingly.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
super easy.
You don't even need to know which bus number you're going on. They have that figured out for you. They have that figured out.
Next option.
All right, so moving on, there is the high-speed rail station located at the airport. And the cool thing, I'm looking here, is that we didn't do this, so I have to look at my notes here. So it takes 25 minutes to get from the airport to the main train station, which is pretty amazing. That's a really fast ride.
Yeah.
And the train station in Taipei is a really central location, so that might be your best bet.
Then you would have to transfer either to the subway or the bus, because I mean, your hotel may not be next to the main train station.
Right, so it might involve multiple types of transportation.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that the price here is 165 new Taiwan dollars, which is under six US bucks. So again,
not bad.
Pretty cheap. Would be a really efficient way to get into the city, and probably quite fun too. I always we like taking trains. So.
Especially Sam. Yes. Next option.
All right, and okay, so we're moving up in price. This is the airport shuttle. I guess this is probably a little bit more comfortable. It says door-to-door service to all hotels in Taipei City. So yeah, that's pretty fancy, but you are going to be paying more. I'm noticing the price is 350 new Taiwan dollars, which puts you at over 11 US dollars per person. So yeah, that's a big bump up in price. And the real big bump up in price is the next option.
The taxi.
The taxi. And that's going to cost you from anywhere from 900 to 1,200 new Taiwan dollars. So you are looking at the 30 to 40 US dollar price range. And that's if you're staying in the city center.
Yeah. Honestly, I would probably go for the first option, because the bus was very comfortable, easy to find. They dropped us off where we needed to go. So
yeah,
it's affordable too.
Super affordable. And yeah, I've done that. I've been to Taipei twice. You've been once, and I've done that service twice. Great service.
Okay, so that's transportation. Next, let's move on to accommodations. What type of accommodations are you going to stay in Taipei?
So let's start with the cheapest, and
hostel.
That's always a hostel.
Always hostel.
Almost anywhere in the world is a hostel. And looking at my notes here, you can stay at a hostel for anywhere between 400 to 600 new Taiwan dollars. And so that's between about 12 to 20 US bucks. And that makes sense, because when I went in 2010, I stayed at one of the cheapest hostels, and it was 10 US dollars. So like 6-7 years later, the cheapest one is about 12 bucks. Yeah, that sounds about right.
You'll probably get a bed in a dorm, so you may be sharing the space with a few different travelers. But if you're traveling solo, that can be a really fun way to meet people, so it's an option.
Next option is between 2 to 3 star hotel, and at that price you're looking between 40 to 100 US dollars.
What we went for this time was actually an Airbnb rental, and we often use Airbnb when we travel. So we got, what would you call it, like a studio?
Yeah, it was kind of like a studio apartment. It had more features than a typical hotel. Like we had our own washer, we had a tiny kitchen.
Yeah.
We had, actually everything else is the same as a hotel except for those two things. We had a little kitchen and a little washer. and a place to hang up our clothes, which is really nice. It meant we could do our own laundry because we were staying there for over a week. So yeah, we did laundry every other day. That meant we had nice clean clothes.
We had a kitchen where we could prepare breakfast, so that was pretty nice as well.
And we did that quite a bit. We bought some local fruit, we did stuff like that. So this type of place, when you have your own kitchen, it allows you to save a little bit of money. That's one less meal that you have to spend at a restaurant.
And you know what? The Airbnb rental was actually slightly cheaper than staying in a hotel room, and we had more space. So that was pretty cool. So price-wise?
Yeah, price-wise. So yeah, price-wise it was like, we paid, I think it was about $50 a night, and $40 to $60 gets you that type of place in Taipei.
Oh, and our Airbnb was like right outside the metro station.
Yes.
Literally, like you had the exit and then our building was right next door. So it was amazing for transportation.
So the cool thing about Taipei is it has one of the most amazing metro systems we've ever used. And our biggest tip is not so much where you're going to stay, there's not a particular neighborhood we'd recommend, but do get a place that is within walking distance of a metro, because that is going to allow you to get anywhere in the city super efficiently. All right, so that ties in nicely to what we're doing, because we're going to talk about transportation.
All right.
And the only thing that we recommend doing for transportation in Taipei is to take the Taipei Metro, also known as the MRT.
Yeah, and you got an Easy Card for that.
Right.
To stay there.
Easy Card is awesome. I'm looking over here just to confirm the price. Yeah, the Easy Card is 100 new Taiwan dollars, which is just over $3 US. Amazing card to have. Not only can you use it to get around on the metro, but you can also use it for museums.
Yeah, for a few attractions around the city. The
zoo, the Malcolm gondola. So taking the cable car, and also you can also use it to rent the public bikes too. Yeah, so it's like it's one of
multifunctional, multi-purpose.
It's one of the most versatile transportation cards you can ever pick up. Like, it's just awesome. Oh, and the other cool thing, and this is really important, is you save 20% on your fares. So fares start at 20 new Taiwan dollars, which is like what, 60, 70 US cents, and you get your 20% discount, and that brings it down to, you're starting off at like 50 cents. Which is 16.
And Sam loves discounts, so that's why he got the card.
So yeah, it's gonna save you money though, especially if you're there for a few days. And there is an option here. I'm just looking down here. You can get a one-day pass, and we didn't do this obviously because we stayed for a while. But if you pay 200 Taiwanese dollars, which is under $7 US, that gives you unlimited rides on the MRT. But it does not, I'm looking here at the notes, it does not include the Malcolm gondola.
Wah, wah.
So yeah. But anyways, like, I can't stress enough how cool the MRT is. It's like so clean, so efficient, on time, gets you anywhere in the city within minutes.
It has a fun little jingle.
Yeah. We loved it. We took it to go everywhere. If we couldn't walk there, we were taking the MRT.
So you've probably already watched our city guide of things to do in Taipei, but we wanted to highlight a few activities that are free if you're not looking to spend any money whatsoever.
Right.
So number one, if you don't want to go up Taipei 101, but you want cool views of the city, you can actually climb Elephant Hill, and we show that in our video.
Yeah.
It involves a whole lot of stairs, and you're probably going to be sweating, but you can get pretty high up, and then you just get these amazing landscape views of Taipei.
I would do that in the morning or late afternoon.
Yes.
Because you will be hot and sweaty if you do it midday. The humidity in Taipei is off the charts. Okay, the second thing, and this is something we did a lot of, is you've got to check out the night markets and eat the street food in Taipei.
Yes.
It is legendary. There are so many to choose from. We went to some of the more famous ones. Yeah, Shilin,
Ningxia, and Raowei.
Yeah, those are the three we went to. There's more. There's more within the city center. There's also more that you can visit like on a day trip.
Yeah, so those markets, I mean, markets are free to visit, so it's just a matter of how much you end up spending on food there. So again, if you're on a budget, it's a really great place to go for your meals.
We are going to number 3, that is the Chiang Shek Memorial Hall. One of the most like iconic, famous places to visit in the city.
Yeah.
it's definitely worth a visit.
Yeah, it's free. You can go there to watch the changing of the guard.
Yeah.
It does get quite crowded, and I would also recommend going either early in the morning or late in the afternoon, because when the sun is shining down on like that white marble or whatever, it's like, it kind of burns. It's so hot, like you really feel the heat like shining back in your face. It's really intense.
Get big.
So yeah, early in the day is best. Another free attraction you can visit are the Beitou Hot Springs. And you do have to pay if you want to go into some of the private springs. It's just a small fee to go in and soak yourself. But if you just want to enjoy the springs and like look at them, take pictures, that's also free.
Yeah, and an important thing to note about that is that's kind of on the outskirts of the city.
Yeah.
That's not in the city center. So yeah, that takes it's a little bit longer to get to, but it's it's definitely quieter than downtown. And the last one is probably one of the most famous temples in all of Taipei, is the Longshan Temple. So yeah, check that place out. So those are the 5 things that we recommend.
For free!
For free! And so the next section that we have are the must-do things in the city.
Things that you're gonna have to pay for.
Yeah, you will pay for these, but do not miss them. And number 1 is
Taipei 101!
Of course. One of the coolest buildings we've ever seen anywhere. Like, not just the outside design of it is awesome, but it's also just an amazing building to go into. It's really nice, really new, modern. So in terms of the price of visiting, it is only 600 new Taiwan dollars, which is under 20 US bucks at the current moment. So
a little bit pricey, but I mean, it's the most iconic site in all of Taipei, so I think it's worth paying for it.
Next is the gondola ride. And that was
fun.
I think that was probably our favorite activity, right? On a personal level.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous to go on this gondola ride. You are out in nature, and you just get, like, when you arrive, it's so cool. You get a really cool view of like the city, like way off in the distance. And it's also a great place to have Taiwanese tea.
Yeah, so you're up in the hills and they have a lot of different tea houses you can visit. So if you want something close to nature to just have a very chill and relaxed day, you can go have tea, enjoy the views, walk around. So it's pretty cool. And that costs, it's 120 new Taiwan dollars, which is the equivalent of $4 US to get there.
Yeah.
Each way.
And as we mentioned before, you can use your Easy Card.
Yes.
So if you have enough credit, it's an awesome way to do it.
We're moving on to must-eat foods. What do you have to eat in Taiwan? Let's see.
Oh my gosh! So we're going back to the night markets, and my gosh, there is just an endless supply of things to try. I mean, you have everything from the things exotic as stinky tofu to like tame stuff. Like, there's a lot of really good desserts, ice cream. There's different types of chicken. There's different types. There's like everything. If you guys really want to see all the different options of foods to eat, you have to check out our 3 different street food markets that we did.
Anyways, price point for these street food snacks?
Yeah, so you can pay anywhere between 20 to 150 new Taiwan dollars. And that ranges from under $1 US all the way up to 5 US bucks. And the only time we paid that much was for like more expensive meat and fish items. Most things slotted in between the 30 and 90 price, which is between 1 to 3 US bucks. So man, you could, if you have a budget of like 10 US dollars per person,
you can eat well.
You can eat very well. You will be stuffed by the time you leave. Okay, so that's a must. The next one is
Din Tai Fung. If you're going all the way to Taipei, you need to try xiaolongbao, these special pork soup dumplings. They are amazing, and they are really affordable for a restaurant with so much hype.
It's a Michelin star restaurant.
Michelin star.
And this I think it's safe to say this was our favorite restaurant in Taipei.
But we went back again and again and again.
I don't, what, 3, 4 times,
Many
5 times, something like that. And we found that like if you're spending between 3 to 12 US dollars per person, you're gonna be eating really well. So again, really quite affordable. And the only thing is you may have to line up.
Yes.
Yeah.
The lines are really long, so go early or go outside of meal times. Like go in the middle of the afternoon and then maybe you can get in really quick.
Right. So this is the fun part. We are going to talk about the things we liked about Taipei.
And then disliked.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, we're gonna every like guide we do, we're gonna talk about the things we liked and disliked, loved and hated.
Let's start with the positives.
All right, so number 1, and this is the third time we're talking about this, but the night markets and street food in Taipei are legendary. Like Taipei, I would call it the foodie capital of Asia.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, the only other city I've been to where they're that passionate about food is Lima in Peru.
And that is not in Asia.
No. So, I mean, you have night markets that are running every single day. You have an endless supply of food to try. It's all really affordable.
And we also saw that people are willing to line up for food. Like, it's crazy. People will stand in line to eat at this one particular restaurant because they specialize in something, and it's amazing.
Even for street food too.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a really good way to find out where you should be eating when you go to these night markets. If there's a line, that means it's good.
Another thing we really enjoyed about Taipei was proximity to nature. So it didn't take very long to ride the MRT out of the city and just find yourself like in a nature reserve where you can see wildlife and birds, or like to be out in the hot springs.
Yeah, or the Malcolm gondola.
Or the gondola.
Yeah.
Or even the day we went out to Tamshui and we went biking along the waterfront. That was so much fun.
So yeah, you're never too far from the city center.
And you're never too far from nature.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. You're never too far. You can escape the city. You can escape the city center really easily.
Yes.
Okay, next one is I want to talk about the awesome metro system, the MRT. One of the best we've ever used anywhere in the world. Just fantastic, efficient, cheap, clean. Takes you all over the city. There's lots of lines so you can transfer easily. Just an awesome way to get around Taipei.
Ooh, another really important one. We met lots of friendly locals. Like seriously, anytime we looked a little lost or disoriented, people actually approached us and asked us like, oh, where do you need to go? Do you need any help? And that is very rare. I find that in big cities, people are always in a rush, or like they're just focused on themselves and they don't really stop to help tourists. But in Taipei, we had a lot of people helping us out, and we also had random people approach us just to practice English and have a little chat. And like, it wasn't creepy or anything like that. They were just like really nice, pleasant people. So that was cool. I felt welcome.
Yeah, that was definitely a highlight of visiting Taipei. Okay, and the last point that we really liked about Taipei is that yes, it's a really big city, but it's spread out enough that it doesn't feel
claustrophobic.
It doesn't feel as crowded as like a Hong Kong or a Seoul or some of these other cities. So it has that. You just feel like you have a bit more open space, and I love that.
Personal space is nice. So now we're going to talk about things that we didn't necessarily like about Taipei, and honestly, we had to sit down and like kind of rack our brains because there weren't a whole lot of things that we disliked.
No, it was a really fun trip overall. Like we really love visiting. So the thing we'll start off with is weather. We were supposed to be visiting in what was considered the dry season. And we experienced a lot of rain. And even when it wasn't raining, it was really humid. So we kind of had to bring an umbrella everywhere. And there would be days where it'd be like rain and then a little pocket of sunshine and then a lot of rain again. And so like we had to be prepared for rain all the time.
Yeah, and you may have seen some blue skies in the video. I think we had one day of blue skies. And we were literally like, oh my gosh, it's a sunny day. We have to go now.
Yeah, we were really.
And we were like running around trying to film in good weather because honestly, it was quite wet while we were there.
So another thing that we kind of disliked about the city, and this is true of most big cities we visit, is around rush hour in the metro, it could get quite crowded. But yeah, aside from that, man,
no complaints.
We had a really good time.
So if you're thinking of visiting Taipei as well, we hope this video was kind of handy, kind of useful. If you have any other questions about the city, feel free to pop those in the comment section below and we'll try to answer those if we can. If not, if you guys know the answer, feel free to, chime in and help fellow travelers out.
Yeah, please share your tips because we were only there for a week, so anyone who lives there would know a lot more than we do. So yeah, signing off, and definitely recommend going to Taipei. Bye for now.